I haven't really been filming any of this, but I guess now is as good of a time as any.
My big trip across the country this summer has been canceled. Yesterday, I was supposed to leave for my next big trip in the van, which would take me across the US and Canada to visit 3 more national parks. But currently, the van isn't even in my driveway. It's at a garage about 3 miles down the road from here with quite a bit of problems, all of which can be fixed, but not in time for the trip to happen. I genuinely don't know how to tell you how devastating this was for me. This has just been really stressful past couple of months, and knowing that I would eventually be going on this trip was just like the one thing that really kept me going. And then that was taken away too, and it just feels like a huge waste knowing that I had to cancel everything, and it'll likely be quite a while until I can plan another big, extensive trip like this again. And I know that it's technically actually a very good thing that all of this happened right here in my driveway instead of thousands of miles from home, but nothing about this feels good right now. I finally got the call. The van is ready to use again, so I'm going to go pick it up, take it back home, and I will explain to you exactly what happened. There it is. It is so good to be back. So about 5 days before I was supposed to leave, I went to go get gas and do all that kind of final preparation stuff for the trip, and the van just would not turn on. I figured maybe the battery had just died, so I used a jumper pack to try to jump start it, but even then it would just not do anything. So I didn't panic. I called AAA and they came out, replaced the battery, and successfully were able to start the van. But about 30 seconds after that, it started smoking under the hood, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then all of a sudden the belt snapped, and it was terrifying. So I turned off the van and called for a tow to the garage that I am now just coming home from. Something I have mentioned in previous videos is that even though this van technically has air conditioning, the AC system has never actually worked properly. It did work when I recharged the refrigerant, but because there is a leak in the system, eventually it all just drained back out again, and I was right back to where I started. But something I didn't realize was that running the AC with this lack of refrigerant could damage the compressor and a couple of other major components of the air conditioning system. And something else I didn't realize is that with the way the Chevy Express is designed, the AC compressor actually integrates into the whole pulley system that holds the serpentine belt. And after all the chronic use of the AC with insufficient refrigerant, the compressor failed, the pulley seized, creating friction, snapping the belt, and overloading the alternator. At least, that is what I understand happened, to the best of my ability. And even though it's kind of the source of all of the issues, the AC unit is really beyond repair. A lot of the major components in it have totally failed, and it would just make more sense to replace the whole thing at this point, which would be just ridiculously expensive. Luckily, there are bypass adapters that basically just put in a dummy wheel that spins freely for the belt to sit on without actually engaging the compressor. So that's what's in here now. And yes, that does mean that I will never have air conditioning in this van, but I can't miss what I've never had. And in addition to replacing all of those components, I needed to replace the power steering pump and some seriously degraded fuel lines. And the cost for all of this was just under $5,000. That is a lot of money. That's an insane amount of money. But I wanted to invest in this van. It's so important to me because it has enabled me to have some of the best times of my life. And I know it has so many more trips left in it. And speaking of more trips, even though my original plans didn't work out, I'm not just letting the van sit in the driveway for the rest of the summer. Not only should I drive it around for a bit to make sure that all the new parts are holding up, but I want to do something with what's left of the warm weather, and I plan on using the van for that as much as possible. I can't really go too far from home, so I've decided to return to one of my favorite places in the whole world, Maine. But I plan on taking my time heading there. So for my first day back in the van, I'm making a stop at my dad's house to do a little remote work and to visit some very energetic family members. Puppies? Hi, puppies. Hi. Hi. Some of you may recognize this place. Oh, don't do that, baby. Could you not do that? Could you not do that, actually? Could you not do that? Anyways, what was I saying? Some of you may recognize this place from when I first started building out my van. Oh, hey. It looks very different now and has a few new residents. 2 of which are goats, one of which loves to climb and is currently trying to eat my camera, so I'm gonna move. My dad is away for the weekend, so I figured even though someone is coming to feed all the animals, I could at least give them a little bit of attention while I was here. And they do love attention. Hey, stop that. Plus, because it's Friday, I can use the internet here to get some work done, as well as hopefully beat some of the weekend traffic up to Maine tomorrow morning. I was pretty productive yesterday. I'm definitely trying to get myself more accustomed to working from the van. This is more of the ideal situation because I have Wi-Fi readily available, but it is something I want to do more of because it should enable me to visit more parks. This morning, I am completely free to have the day to myself. It is beautiful weather, so let's go to Maine. This is Wolf's Neck State Park, where I've come to go kayaking on the Casco Bay, a saltwater inlet on the Gulf of Maine. Kayaking is something I've been doing more of lately, not only because I enjoy it, but also because there are a lot of national parks where the best way to experience it is on the water. And even though my trip for this summer has been canceled, I'll still be visiting one of those parks a lot sooner than you may think. But more on that later. Apparently there are some osprey nesting on the island in front of me. So I'm gonna paddle around, maybe see if I can spot any. I think I can hear them. I hear chirping. Found a little area to pull the kayak up. Saw some osprey, so it's time to get in the water, I guess. Ooh, a bunch of people just got yelled at for going on the Osprey Island. Stay away from them little birdies. I feel bad, but like the signs are right there. There's two of them. Hard to miss. Anyways, I think it's probably time for me to head in because I've got to return this boat. That was amazing. I wish I could have stayed out longer, but it's gonna get dark soon anyways, and I need to take a shower. So I have come to this trailhead to hopefully do that. We'll see what I can manage. Technically all I'm really doing is washing my hair, but I think it's better than nothing. If you're feeling like this could be going better, it could be. Just spilled some water on the floor in there. Not a big deal, but I'm gonna dry off now and get changed. It's still better than the last time I had to do this, which was in a gas station parking lot. So I think this is an improvement. Okay. All clean, and now I am presentable enough to go get some dinner. As disappointing as canceling my big trip was, days like this are how I know you don't need to go far to have an adventure. especially since in this van, everything kind of feels like an adventure. It's easy for me to forget the little things to love about New England after living here my entire life. But even though I've seen these views 1,000 times before, on nights like this, I remember why people travel thousands of miles to come here. Those guys in the boat, they literally just pull up alongside the restaurant right here and then just straight up put Lindsay lobsters right into the kitchen. As much as I'm sure this looks like a beautiful spot from inside the van, and it is, it's really nice, but I am in fact at a park and ride, and honestly sometimes a lot of places that don't allow overnight parking, I like to go somewhere that does. I stay there, and then when I wake up in the morning I just go to a nicer location to spend the morning. So I'm gonna get out of here and try to do that. So I've just arrived at Crescent Beach State Park, and it's time to make some breakfast. Yes, that is in fact one of my dad's hen's eggs. Thanks, Piggy. After a couple hours at the beach and a shower that was much nicer than the one I took yesterday, it's looking like it's time to go home. After everything that happened earlier this summer, I've started to come to terms with the future of this van. I know it doesn't exactly have an infinite lifespan, but I definitely don't plan on it dying anytime soon. This little van has opened up my world so much, and I know my world is only going to get bigger from here. I'm finally feeling like myself again after everything that's happened, and even though it'll be a few months before I'm able to go on a big road trip in the van again, I'll be taking some time in between now and then to visit a very specific national park that wouldn't make that much sense to drive to anyways.